All right, welcome on into the show, a Saturday edition of the Tune-Up. My name's Denny Gallagher, and I am joined by the snare campaign provocateur, the very stubbly, the coming in caffeinated, white hot. It's Benny Horowitz. What's up?
That's it. You want to call me on Saturday? You're not getting a shave, guy. It's a podcast. That's what I tell everyone. Everyone who I interview, that they're like, "Oh, I hope that was good." This and that. I'm like, honestly, it was great. And in the end, it's a fucking podcast.
Yeah,
we'll be all right. We'll be all right. How you doing today? You okay? Were you on the edge of your seat?
So, I don't get worked up about it like that anymore because it's just business like. So we're coming to you on Saturday because stunner World Cup
action.
In my former life, as I've talked about a bunch on this podcast, I was a U.S. men's national team beat writer. I did the whole thing. So high investment, care about it deeply. Been watching these guys since they were young. So today they had the opportunity to advance to the quarterfinal for the first time since 2002. Young bunch thought they could do it. But they suffered a 3-1 defeat at the hands of a veteran Netherlands team, man. And let me tell you, 3-1 final score, and it was every bit of it. It was kind of like, how we talk in NBA terms on this all the time. It's like, like the Memphis Grizzlies last year. They just didn't have enough to get over a veteran team like the Warriors when push came to finally shove. That was kind of what we were looking at.
But they had enough to make you believe in them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the trick. But to their credit, enough to really stay in games.
Yeah.
Because as you said, I'm watching this game, and I mean, what could you use words to explain the Netherlands' performance? Clinical, tactical,
academic,
academic, like everything. So you're taking a bunch of young kids, and it's like, here you go. This. You're right. It's like the Grizzlies versus Popovich or something, and they just seemed, where. The U.S. team, it's taken 2 dribbles and a move to get somewhere. For them, it's just like one graceful stride. They just seem a little bigger, a little stronger, a little older. So that being said, there are a lot of versions of this U.S. team I've seen in the past that would have been just erased off the field by a team like that. And they were in it to the point where, when we made it 2-1 there, I don't know, things can happen, and you put yourself in the game. And so let me ask you that, even at 2-1, maybe that you're a more seasoned football watcher than I. Like at 2-1, I'm in the mindset, I'm like, oh, it's anyone's game. Did you still know? Did you still know they couldn't do it?
I mean, it was cat and mouse here. So the way that Louis van Gaal plays and the way that the Netherlands plays, it's like they were going to let the U.S. run around, tire themselves out, and then beat them on the counter because they knew that they were clinical. And it was just kind of like, okay, it doesn't matter what we throw at them. Some suspect substitutions there from Greg Berhalter. I thought taking out a guy like Tim Weah was kind of an interesting choice, considering he was one of the only ones that was giving you a spark. My guy Haji Wright, though, I talked to you about him before the tournament, covered him with the New York Cosmos when he was 16, 17, got a World Cup gold. That was awesome to see from me. But kind of with the Netherlands, you're always kind of like, oh, this is going to be total football. They've been playing this brand of football for 100 freaking years.
Yeah, right.
So for the U.S. to think that they were going to finally break them down, especially when they had subs to give, was kind of juvenile.
Yeah, I mean, I like the, a couple of the late subs. What's his name? The kid who plays for Miami, Yeldon.
DeAndre Yedlin.
Yedlin. That was a nice sub. He had some good action when he came out. The thing that was obvious to me, though, I mean, that third goal they gave up, the last goal to Dumfries, he was over there calling for it for 15 seconds. Like, why? Like, that seemed as easy of a slam dunk goal as I've seen in the World Cup in a long time, which is the thing that begs my mind. I'm like, oh, were we ever really in this game?
Yeah.
So I had a lot of fun. I didn't think it would get that far. I like seeing the representation on the stage. And we're in a promising situation because you have to imagine that a great deal of this team is going to be the team that comes back in 26, right?
100%. And I tweeted it when the game went final. In any sort of sport, any sort of venture, like you want those master classes of, okay, what's the template we're trying to build for? This team got a master class from this Dutch team and what it's going to take to make a deep World Cup run in 2026.
That's right.
And, we talked about the youth a lot on the first Memphis Depay goal. Tyler Adams, who arguably best 11 of the tournament, absolute engine of the U.S., got caught, not marking Memphis Depay. Barcelona striker made him pay. And then on the blind goal right before the half, Serginho Dest, very good defender, had a real spark that the entire game, got caught napping. He was in the middle of the box, made him pay 2-0 right before the half. And then on the last one, like you said, slam dunk goal, got their third one. So the U.S. showed some real sparks, but
looked like Robinson fell asleep on that third goal.
Yeah.
But I got to bring it up because, one of the few things that kept me invested in U.S. soccer for a long time was Timmy Howard, North Brunswick, New Jersey. That's my guy. I followed him. It was the reason I liked Everton for a bit. He was my dude.
Yeah.
That Turner, Jersey boy, he put in a heck of a performance. I'm not going to go he plays for who?
Arsenal.
Yeah, never. Okay.
Right
I can't
now.
do that. I'm not doing that. But there's something about this New Jersey keeper thing that's keeping me super invested in U.S. soccer. I don't know what it is. I feel like the keeper is like the drummer, the catcher, the goalie type of the pitch. So I like the fact that they're always from New Jersey, and it adds an extra investment into U.S. soccer for me.
I got a Matt Turner thing that I'll tell you off the air, which is why.
I noticed your face was not with me during that.
Listen.
Oh jeez. Oh jeez.
It's complete. It has nothing to do with him as a goalkeeper right now. It's a personal thing. It's personal.
Okay. Off wax. Danny.
That's right. Just how you've never given any secrets of this upcoming album, I'm not going to share this. Okay. All right. So the big question and the last question, really, it's all kind of in the books going forward on this World Cup. But Greg Berhalter, from my perspective, he comes in, he takes a team that needed a change, and he gave him that change. And to see him come in and to see how they now play more dynamic. Klinsmann tried to do this to not much success, and there was a whole like Bruce Arena debacle. So the way Greg Berhalter has got this team to kind of adapt to this dynamic style, and he's also met the players that he had, which is a very important distinction. Young coach, not sure if he'll be back for 2026, but good early seeds here.
So you'd like to see him back for 2026?
I think if you want to make a run at the World Cup, I think you need a manager that has won a World Cup, especially since it's on your home soil. That may be a more difficult hire than we would think.
Right.
But Greg did a good job. I think we can say that. Got out of the group.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to pretend to get into the X and O's of his coaching, but from just a fan's perspective, you want to see your team be competitive. And for most of this World Cup, with the exception of about 90 minutes where you thought a goal was never going to come again, they were competitive. They were in games against very, very class teams. So, I if I saw him again, I wouldn't guffaw at it.
Yeah. So, but the most important thing, if you got into this World Cup during the World Cup and you got into this team, stick with it. This is not an every 4-year thing. This is every camp. Be invested. You don't have to always say with like politics, you got to be invested in every single election. Be invested in every single one of these guys. That's how I've gotten into European soccer. It's just by following these guys and these teams.
You better get someone to fucking pay you if you keep hawking for him this hard.
Who?
The U.S. men's soccer. I think send Denny a jersey or something. Jesus.
Or,
Cody.
Little compensation, Cody.
Jesse, what do you guys I know from this? Come on. Hook my brother up. He's hawking.
I've been trying for years. All right.
Boy, a free jersey. Gallagher on the back.
No thanks.
What will your number be?
A 14. That was always it. Right. Come on, man.
Okay.
I had a decade of being 14.
All right, number 14.
Because can you guess who turned me on to 14?
It's not ringing a bell off the bat.
The great former Red Bull legend, Arsenal legend, Thierry Henry. Favorite player.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice.
All right.
Not a lot of NBA classic 14s out there.
No. I try to think who. Danny Green Is Danny Green the best case scenario there? I don't
And
know.
I don't know if he wore that his whole career.
Just with the Spurs. But all right, should we get on with the rest of the show? Because
Let's do it.
guys, we're doing a full show today, up close and personal. Benny Horowitz. And yeah, it is time. No fanfare today, just a straight thing. It's time for This Day in Music History. All right, Benny, what do you got?
Nice one. And apropos of the last couple weeks, 1994, Adam Sandler performs the Hanukkah song on the Weekend Update segment of SNL, enlightening us to the fact that Harrison Ford, Paul Newman, David Lee Roth are Jewish. Song reaches number 10 U.S.
Wow.
And every holiday season for those 3 years following the release, it placed high on the list of biggest singles. Now, I bring this up, of course, because in the time when it came out, of course, I loved it. Everybody loved it, even Jews, which was a fun thing. It was like, oh, look at us here in the narrative. That's nice. It's another strange thing. If we apparently run this whole thing, you'd think we had more songs.
More hits, yeah.
Look, if we ran this whole thing, Jesus, put A to B. You fucking conspiracy nut jobs. Doesn't make any sense. But anyway, but now that's like 25 years later after he wrote this song, it's still like by far for someone my generation or the previous, I think it's by far the most iconic Hanukkah song.
Yeah.
By a mile. I can't even think what would be number 2. And I hope it lives on to further generations. It's funny, it's cute, it pays like homage by kind of making fun of yourself still, and I love it. Props to Adam Sandler for being one of the finest Jews out there in the media industry.
Now, here's my question to you on that front. Does he need to update it? Kind of how everyone
he has.
Okay.
So that's where I didn't even bring this up because I feel like it's almost the bad part of the story. He's done not only part 2, he's done part 3.
Oh no!
From the 8 Crazy Nights soundtrack, where he added apparently Ross and Phoebe from Friends.
Okay.
And then part 4 debuts at the Judd Apatow and Friends event at the New York Comedy Festival, where Sandler adds Daniel Radcliffe, Princess Leia, and the guys who founded Google to the roster.
Okay.
So apparently your questions have been called before you even knew it. Adam Sandler's helping you out.
That's
with
awesome.
four versions already.
I need 5 coming up because I think there's some people to add.
You know what? Adam Sandler, the way he's going, with like his new movies, the gristly beard, being taken super seriously now. It might be time for like the cut back, like acoustic, grizzled voice version of the Hanukkah song. Like he might be in his like Johnny Cash era,
Do you remember? And
do you know you keep saying "Jew remember"? You're like you get Freudian.
Do you remember? I have not said that. Do not try to bait me into that one. Do you remember?
Roll back that tape.
No, I did not. I literally did not. My ears my ears aren't quite shot yet. But do you remember when I was like, Adam Sandler in this era is the new Judd Hirsch, and you laughed at me so bleeping hard, but it's coming true.
You know what? Yeah, I mean, I'm more and more, and you know what it is? It's like watching how sort of he hit over that Hollywood hump.
Yeah. Where
he got to that next generation of his career, and sort of like the silly stuff from early on is so lost on the new people. Like some 18-year-old who's into basketball watching Hustle, they never saw Billy Madison.
Yeah.
They would think it was fucking ridiculous and would have no idea what was going on if they did see it, So I think like he's managed, bands have this thing too. You hit a point where you just can't be that cool anymore. Your time is up. Luckily, Sandler got over the hump here,
Yeah, no. And he's got that trading card movie coming out with the Safdie brothers, Uncut Gems Part 2. So.
Nervous. Keep him alive this time. Jesus.
All right, Benny. Well, on this day in 1965, the Beatles put out their 6th studio album, Rubber Soul. Who would have thought? It incorporates, it's a folk rock album with incorporations of pop, soul, folk, and all sorts of other stuff. I had another one, which I thought was interesting in light of the Taylor Swift one. On this day in 1976, ABBA, my favorite band in the whole wide world. No,
That's right. That's
right. They had quarter million tickets for a show. 3.5 million people got on the list, crashing box offices before all of the Taylor Swift stuff and the internet and everything. So ABBA crashing the box office and Beatles putting out Rubber Soul. Pretty big day.
Not bad. Not bad. Hey, listen, just for your knowledge here, there's some solid number 14s that have been out there. Bob Cousy.
Oh.
Okay, so you got a serious one there. You were right. Danny Green, DJ Austin. It gets thin fast, but I think you should wear that Bob Cousy one pretty well. That's your biggest NBA comp if you ever need to use that again.
I can't believe when the whole JJ Redick stuff was going down that we never talked about this. Where do you stand on Bob Cousy as an all-time great?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, right up there. I don't play that. I don't play that generational stuff. It doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah. I don't know. Like if you were that dominant at the time, I hold your place. I don't believe in the JJ Redick janitors things. From what it sounds like, most of those players found that pretty dismissive and shitty. Yeah. You also got Jeff Hornacek.
Oh,
Michael Kidd Gilchrist, pride of Jersey City. Come on, right. You're doing great. Jameer Nelson.
Oh, Jameer Nelson. Oh my God.
Robert Pack. You're doing okay. This is a good number. Oscar Robertson.
Oh, big O.
Oscar Robertson, Bob Cousy, number 14, legendary number. There we go.
I think Bob McAdoo was 14 at one point too.
Right.
All right. Do you want to get into
moving on?
Yeah, we'll get to the hoops because LeBron made some history on Friday night. We'll get to that. But Benny, we lost a pioneer in music this week.
Sure did.
And we got to get into it real quick. Christine McVie of Fleetwood Mac played the keys, wrote some songs, has died at the age of 79. And as I completely dismiss, wrote some songs. You want to know what some of these songs were?
Yeah.
Little Lies Everywhere, Don't Stop, Say You Love Me, and Songburn. So hits.
Oh,
woman had hits.
Hits on hits on hits.
So passed away, 79. What's your thoughts on the life?
You don't need to listen to me for long to know that I am a big Fleetwood Mac fan.
Yeah.
Always have been. As I've gotten older, it's like almost changed, where like I used to be an anti-rumors guy. I was like, come on, let's get in some Peter Green, and I'm like, this is the cool stuff and blah, blah, blah. And, the older I get and the more appreciative I became of just like beautifully crafted, perfect pop rock songs. She was part and parcel to dozens of really, really excellent ones that are just going to be in the narrative forever. Had that the perfect balance in the voice. Like that's one thing I think one thing I know from personal experience, and one of the hardest things to do in music that's getting lost on a lot of people is harmonizing vocals without the aids of digital technology. And what they were able to do and she was able to do with her voice and moving it all over, it takes a skill I don't think like a lot of people have. So huge loss. And also part of the Fleetwood Mac narrative is the marriage between John McVie and her, where Peter Green was their best man, and they celebrated their honeymoon in a hotel with Joe Cocker, like there's just story after story after story about the relationship, the fallout, the whole Fleetwood Mac thing. So a name that's just going to be cemented in the whole rock and roll narrative for, I don't know, until the sun melts us.
That's right. And how, sometimes we do the completely, and I'm sure it sketches people out when we do the sports comparisons here, but sometimes it's like Jordan Rodman of female singer-songwriters here, just like that. Will absolutely stand the test of time. Big fan.
Yeah.
My other question to
and it's the different thing though, and the reason why we should probably elect women to maybe rule the world. Unlike Jordan or Dennis Rodman, Stevie Nicks is post or whatever when Chrissy McVie dies is that she was my best friend in the whole world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They were people. They were like proper people together. And maybe that's another reason why the music was so beautiful, you know?
I completely woofed my own analogy there. Pip and Jordan. What the heck am I saying, Robin?
They hate each other too. You got to go off Bulls. No Michael Jordan
Bulls.
teammate you can use.
Kobe, Shaq didn't like each other. I think I'm making your point.
You know what? If you got to go Stevie Nicks, you got to go like Steph Curry, who like every
Stephen
teammate
Clay.
loves. Yeah, like yes, this is a Stephen Clay situation.
Oh man, but will be missed. Big
this
ups
is Tim and Manu.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
That kind of deal. Yeah,
but will be missed. Huge loss, man. Can I brief aside again? So it's no secret my day job is SiriusXM. Was listening to our guy the doggy, Christopher Mad Dog Russo.
Sure, Mac fan.
Well, not really. As this interview clearly, when he put it forward, tried to start ranking Fleetwood Mac among 70s bands, and I was like, considering we do this every week, trying to put
stay out of my lane, doggy.
Yeah.
Get out
I was
of
like,
here.
you can't do it. You literally can't come. He was trying to compare Fleetwood Mac and the Eagles. I'm like,
oh, stop, doggy. Yeah. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Yell about sports and the ponies.
The ponies. Oh my goodness. All right, Benny.
We've been talking some shit last couple weeks,
dude. And like, you know, the people seem to love it. The numbers on the YouTubes are up. So people. Here's what I think this whole thing is boiling down to. I think people just want to see two people on YouTube completely unhinged and slowly losing their minds. And I think we're giving the people what they want.
Yo, I'm all for that. Listen, toeing the line is my bread and butter, baby.
Oh, man.
Mentally, physically, spiritually. Let's go.
Oh, I got to stop.
All right, come on. Moving on. What do we got?
All right. Do you want to talk some Aaron Judge here on a Saturday morning?
Sure.
Saturday afternoon.
Sure, I do. Sure, I do.
So there's a chance that Aaron Judge may not be in pinstripes anymore. We kind of covered this as the New York Yankees season came to a close, but there is hope that he's going to sign a contract at the winter meetings coming up. It seems to be the two front runners right now, the New York Yankees and his hometown San Francisco Giants. Seems to be a lot of backroom deals going on. You know, there's speculation about the Yankees and the Mets having a conversation here. About not going at Judge at all. The Yankees threw up a 8-year, $300 million at the 61-62 home run king over here. Benny, what do you make of this Aaron Judge thing? Do you think we're going to see him back in pinstripes, or is it really a toss-up?
I think we're definitely seeing him back in pinstripes, and I think baseball is finally doing something right.
Yeah.
Your most famous character, the person who your novice fan knows the most, just by name, by Yankees, by size, you know, like any number of things. And they're doing what the NBA does.
Yeah.
They're making it a story. They're scratching it out. You know, there's a couple things to me. I don't think the Yankees are going to put themselves in a position to be outbid right now, especially with what the Yankees look like without Aaron Judge next year. So I think that's off the table. Aaron Judge wants to win. And I do think the Yankees put yourself in a much better position to win now than the San Francisco Giants do, particularly with what's going on in their division. And you're about to just go toe-to-toe with the Dodgers and the Padres for the next 10 years, who have unlimited pockets and these, you know, burgeoning amazing. So you're automatically the third best team in that division if you go there. And Aaron Judge isn't moving that needle. So between that, the mega deal he's been offered, all the things on the table, not what I'm hearing from my own little birdies. I'm not going to put that on here, but I do really think that he's coming back. And I think baseball is finally like making a show of it, you know, stretching it out for a couple weeks and really making people think and making people sweat and making people like us talk about it.
Yeah.
So that's what I think is happening right now.
And kudos to baseball for that. I think, honestly, like the winter meeting should be almost like a reality show where they get all of the guys at the Tampa thing and they sit in a room and almost like Shark Tank style, like the offer gets presented to him and they have like the 4 teams that are interested in signing him. That's what they got to do. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Now, and we'd be remiss to not bring up Jacob deGrom
Oh, going to
Goes
Rangers.
and signs a mega deal, 5 years, blah blah blah, numbers, huge numbers to go there. I think the per year was what people expected, but not the 5 years, based on the fact, I'm looking at DeGrom's stats last night, and shit, if this is a really risky signing, like, just, of course it's not based on talent, but really when you look at DeGrom's career, there is 3 years he put together from 17 to 19 where you're like, this is maybe the best pitcher in baseball. And ever since and before, it's just been this constant situation of how long he can stay on the field and this and that. And I don't know about you, I just haven't cared about the Texas Rangers in so long. It's like I haven't cared about them since Juan Gonzalez and like Pudge Rodriguez was on that team. I don't care how much they signed Semien, they signed Seager, they signed DeGrom. I still don't care. And I don't think they're going to win for some reason. So that's something strange about that narrative. I think the Seattle Mariners so far in baseball are the winners of the offseason by upgrading their offensive roster with Colton Wong taken from your Brewers and Teoscar Hernandez from the Blue Jays, really supplementing the roster with two solid, middle of the lineup types. Colton Wong, I actually think, is like really ascending as an offensive player. So kudos to the Mariners so far. Best off season.
Yeah. Explain these Brewers trades to me. So the brand new GM in there, kind of putting his imprint on here. 2 deals. I'm not sure that I quite get what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think Wong is a little bit of a money thing. He's going to have to get paid sort of soon, and it might be the answer to them moving Renfroe earlier in this offseason because they got Jesse Winker back from the Mariners, who signed a pretty big contract based on his season 2 years ago and kind of boofed it last year. So I do think there's kind of a recovery season possible for Winker, and I think that's why the Brewers did the Wong trade.
All right, so Benny, top to bottom, comprehensive there. So money on the line, Judge and pinstripes next year, yes or no?
Yeah, I'm in.
All right, I love it. Let's get him back. Let's get that Billy Crystal 61 sequel going, because he Judge only gets the movie if he resigns.
Well, me and every good Yankees fan knows what's going to happen. We're not seeing another season like that, but you still have to sign him.
You gotta.
You got no choice.
Got to keep the fan favorites around. And Benny, our next story today, one of your fan favorites, a guy, he's all right. No, just kidding. LeBron James has made NBA history yet again. On Friday night, he moved past Magic Johnson on the NBA's all-time assist, and doing this while wearing a Lakers uniform, climbing the pecking order of Lakers lore. 2-part here. Just him passing Magic on the assist, pretty big deal.
Oh yeah.
But if you're a Laker fan, how much does this matter to you? Because Magic is always going to be your guy.
I don't think for a Lakers fan this matters that much. Yeah. This is like a LeBron fan kind of thing, NBA fan kind of thing, and watching him potentially ascend past the next people, which is possible this season. Like he could start to scratch Mark Jackson at 5 and Steve Nash at 4 by the end of the season. The other ones, the Jason Kidd and John Stockton's, I'd be shocked if he got near, because those are just pretty. I mean, John Stockton is still currently nearly 4,000 assists over Jason Kidd at number 2. So that's one of those wild records you don't see going anytime soon. But, the coolest thing about this record to me is his position.
Yeah. Not a point guard.
And I think that's like the coolest thing about this. He is literally the only person on this list who didn't traditionally play point guard roles. I'm not totally willing to say that about Oscar Robertson, because I don't know if he ran the point or not on his teams. But listen to this list, like the top 15: Stockton, Kidd, Chris Paul, Steve Nash, Mark Jackson, Magic Johnson, Oscar, Isaiah Thomas, Gary Payton, Westbrook, Andre Miller, Rod Strickland, Rajon Rondo, Mo Cheeks, just all traditional classic point guards. So LeBron being this high up on this list is it's not only like indicative of his greatness, but also maybe one of the biggest telltales about the birthing of the era of positionless basketball.
And there's a couple things I could see where you could go the direction in the argument and be like, oh, this puts him greatest all time cemented. But it's also like, I don't think they were padding stats the way that they are now. And I think LeBron, big stat patter guy, it's the same reason why Westbrook is that high on the list as well, even though he's more of a traditional guy. But this is just the appetizer when it comes to him having legacy and accomplishments. The Kareem scoring record is there to be had, and if he did that in a Laker uniform, oh my gosh, it's that's a Mr. 3000 stuff right there.
Yeah, and like even just as a statistical guy, like I am. You look around this list of the assist leaders. LeBron James has career 10,300 career rebounds.
Mm-hmm.
There is no one else on this list with more than 8,700, and that's Jason Kidd, and he's up there by a lot. You look at blocks. Right? LeBron James has 1,050 career blocks. There's not another person on this list with more than 450. Yeah. So, I mean, this is like sheer dominance, unicorn in the woods type stuff. Like, these numbers don't belong with these other numbers. And if I was just like an alien searching statistics, this would make my eye look and go, what is this anomaly? It's weird. And he's not supposed to be here. I do think it can be used as an indication of LeBron being the best all-around player in the history of the game.
I think that that's kind of been known for a little bit because people always use the semantics when it comes to the greatest of all time between him and Jordan. They go for the rings versus the stats, but there is still a tiny bit of stat padding in there that is very much of this era.
Of course.
Also, in that game last night, Chris Middleton makes his return for my Bucks. Solid outing, not bad.
Yeah, look good.
As players start to come back and stuff like that. Top the Eastern Conference. What are your thoughts?
I mean, what is Boston's a freak right now?
Absolutely.
Like from what game 35-40 last season till now. Boston's been the best team in the NBA and one of statistically and historically one of the greater teams. So right now Boston is the class of the East with I'd say Milwaukee and Cleveland shortly behind. I'm not seeing too many problems with Milwaukee, especially Middleton coming back and that roster filling out. Lopez looking good. I thought they looked pretty tough last night. So I'm not too worried about them, especially with health. Looking good. I thought last night was a little more indicative of the Lakers trying to make a statement. They had their health. Anthony Davis is playing at another level, giving you that glimpse of what could be. But, I'd be remiss to say, I think bigger than Chris Middleton last night is the return of TJ Warren.
Oh, okay.
The Brooklyn Nets.
There we go.
TJ Warren coming up big, 10 points off the bench. No, it's great. I mean, get him into the rotation. TJ Warren's a heck of an offensive player. And if there's anything that second unit needs for the Nets, it's someone you can just toss the ball to, get a little crafty in the mid-range game. Like he's kind of Kevin Durant in the way if you give him a shot between, 8 and 15 feet, it's basically automatic. So, you put him in the same spots as the court as Durant, you'll have some success offensively. I don't know if he can guard me on defense right now, but we'll see. See about that.
Not many of the Nets can guard the big swagoo right now, but man, it's just, with the, we passed the 20 game mark. And I think that we really have a good idea of what teams are kind of for real and what teams are going to continue to struggle. So yeah, man, plenty more to get into, but big day here on the Tune Up Saturday edition. Thank you very much for watching on YouTube. Plenty of ways to get in contact with the show. You can email us at thetuneuppodcast@gmail.com. 2 P's in there. Follow us on all the social platforms. The Tune Up HQ on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. We're still on Twitter until the wheels fall off, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to follow the big man, he is on Instagram at Benny Horowitz. I'm at Deny Gallagher. Benny, you got anything else?
Yeah, Denny, quick, right off the top of your head.
Uh-huh.
Who you got in the World Cup? Who do you like? Who's your team now in the World Cup?
I mean, I picked Brazil at the top of this. I also picked the U.S. to get eliminated today, but Brazil, 9 strikers bring into Qatar, including a young Vinicius from Real Madrid. Can't beat it.
There you go. Give me Poland.
Oh.
Shout out Grandma Evie.
The show has ended. Go in peace. You've been listening to and watching The Tune Up.